Now that your entry is completed, the last thing you need to do is to make sure both your story map and your item detail page of the story map, that those links are shared properly so that the judges will be able to open up both links when they do the judging. So the worksheet that you're looking at right now, this Google Doc, you will have access to, but this video is just going to kind of take you through the steps. So the first thing we want to do, we can see right here, is to set the sharing for our maps and our story maps so that they can be viewed by anyone. So I've gone to a folder where I have a story map, I have a web map, I have an application, and I have a layer. The most important thing you need to know is that you don't need to just share your story map with everybody. You need to share every map and layer and application that's a part of your story map with everyone as well. So as we can see right now with this little individual here, that it's only shared with the owner, meaning you're the only person that can actually see it. So first step is to share everything with everybody. Simple way to do it is to click the little box called title. And this works only if you've got all of your items in one folder. Otherwise, it's going to take every single item that you've got and you're going to change the sharing. So you want to isolate the ones that you want. The other option is to just click them one at a time. Go over to the share option over here, click on it, go to the everyone, click on it, and then click save. So as we can see now, the little globe indicates that every one of these items is shared with the public. That means everybody will be able to see it. The next thing we need to do is to get your item detail page ready so that it can be part of your entry things that you send in. So the way to find your item detail page, you go to the three dots over here, go to view item details. So as you can see on the item detail page, there's a brief description up here. And this section called description is where you want to put all the information about your project. So when we look at this description here, what are some of the things that you want with you can have a brief description. You can add a thumbnail. So you can see right here, this little picture has been added there. If you don't do that, then it will default probably to a map view. And then you need the documentation. And that should include, what was the goal of your entry? What were you trying to accomplish? Describe how you did your research. Cite any resources and images that are included in the story map or that you use to make it. And then you're going to have to copy and paste the layers that are on your web map into this description. So let's just take a look at how we do that. I'm going to go back. I'm going to open up the web map because that's where you're going to find the layers that you use. I'm going to open up the item details here. And I'm going to scroll down, and here's a list of all the layers that are used. The judges like to see this, so all you have to do is copy that. And then you go back to the item detail page of your story map. And now you click on edit. Now when you do your documentation here, this is where you can type it in using this text editor, or you could create it in a Google Doc and then copy and paste it in here. So right now what I want to do is just add all the layers that were used. So I'm just going to paste those in here. So they're now all part of it. And so when it is saved, when the judges look, they can see the different layers that you used. So now that we've done that, let's go back and look at what we have to do next. And the next thing we want to do now that your item detail page is complete is to test the link for the story map. So let's do that first. So I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to view my story map. And the one caution you have to make sure of is that your most recent version has been published. And the way we test it, we go up here and we make a copy of the URL. And every browser gives you an option to open an incognito window. For the Chrome, it's over here. So I click on that. And what an incognito window is, it doesn't have any connection to any place where you might have logged in, which would include your ArcGIS online account. So I'm going to paste that link in here. And if I've done everything correctly, the story map should open up, and it does. That means the judge will be able to open the story map. So now I'm going to switch back, and I am going to go back to my content. And this time, it's going to be a little bit tricky, put it that way. Because of the way the ArcGIS Online works, you can't use the URL for your item detail page the way it currently is set up. What you have to do is in yellow here, delete the reference to your org account plus delete the maps and the period after maps. Okay. So for instance, if I copy this one, this is an item detail page for the story map. If I go back to the incognito page and I add a tab, so I paste that URL in here, and what's going to happen is it's going to, because it's got that prefix in there, it's going to redirect me to the login page. And if this happens to a judge, then they cannot see your entry for your item detail page. And that's part of the judging is based on that. So let's go back to here. And how do I delete this out of the URL? Well, the simple way to do it is to just click on your item here, put the cursor right in front of the A for ArcGIS, and then begin deleting everything up until you get to the 2 slashes. Now watch what happens. If I press return, now it already tells me I'm logged out. The only thing I can do from here is click on view. So now if I copy this URL, go back to my incognito window, open up and paste it. Now my item detail page is available for the judges to look at. So this is the most important part, making sure those 2 URLs are done correctly. Now I'm not going to demonstrate the next part of this, but now you need to make shortened URLs. I'm recommending that you go to bit.ly. This is what Esri recommends. You'll probably have to set up a free account if you don't have one already. Get your 2 shortened URLs, and then if I were you, I'd do one final test in an incognito to make sure the shortened URLs are working as well. If you go through any of this and you have problems and you can't figure out how to resolve, my email address is right down here, and you can contact me via email, and I will give you any help that I can. So to review, fill out, share everything properly, make Go back to your content and just double check, make sure everything's shared properly, and you should be good to go. Hopefully this video and the handout is helpful.